I almost decided not to review the new album from Westside Gunn, Still Playing. Now, I cover most of his stuff, most of the Griselda stuff, but I happened to see an Instagram reel from someone I really like called JF Musics. That's Musics with an X, JFMUSIX. If you like me, you'll like him. I mean, he's an actual rapper, but he's also a very good rap commentator. He's out of England, makes a lot of good points, very funny, personable, all that stuff. So I watch most of his stuff, too. And he did like this 2-minute review of Still Praying by Westside Gunn, basically boiling it down to good but weird. And you can look, I left a comment on his video saying, man, you just said in a couple minutes but would take me 30. And I thought, well, I guess that's all I have to say. But then I thought, no. Because I listened to the album, and goddamn, I love it. I love Westside Gunn's albums. I love his music. I want to talk about why it's good. And, you know, I think maybe we could go deeper into why it's weird as well. So well, thank you for auditing the Always Positive New Music Review Show, hosted by a French professor who's going to be really exploding and diving into this idea of weird and good. I think part of the reason it's so weird, and maybe even part of the reason it's so good, is this dominant emotion. The overriding expression of this album is disinterest towards music, which is a weird thing for a music album. Okay, if you've been paying attention to him on social media or any of the press releases, he's so proud of the fact that he has worked so little on this album. He just spent like a day or two. He doesn't care about this. He doesn't talk. He's not into music. Rap? I don't care about that stuff. And the traces of his lack of interest in making an album are all over the place. I mean, every song, he just has one verse. It used to be that rap songs were 3 verses and maybe a chorus, or maybe some kind of interlude between the verses. And then since the TikTok age, we basically boiled it down to 2. But he basically just does 1. Then he gets DJ Drama to kind of pad things. Sometimes he'll have the producers just cut the first couple lines of his verse and repeat them over and over again. Cut the first lines of his verse and repeat them over and over again. Cut the first lines of his verse and repeat them over and over again. And that's a cool effect, and it sounds neat, and I like it, and it gets me hyped. But it's also like, dude, come on, you just... You wanted to record the whole thing in just one day. Even the title itself, Still Praying. Now, okay, you might think it's, Pray for Paris, and then you Pray for Me, and then this is the continuation, Still Praying. So that's the one way you can read the title, right? Like, I'm still praying. I'm still on my grind. I'm still trying to reach the top. Or you can read it as like, yeah, I'm still praying. I don't know. I'm still doing that. I guess Hitler still wears Hermes, and Fly God is still an awesome God and stuff. And, I guess I'm praying still. You want to hear it? Okay, here. Listen to the album. It kind of has that feel. And it's all about wrestling. That's why, because that's his thing. He started a wrestling promotion company, Fourth Rope. He has these series of wrestling events called The Heels Have Eyes. It's what his thing is. The album cover features, I had to look this up because I don't know wrestling beyond I remember when Coco Beware was introduced. That was the last wrestling match I watched. It was like, hey everybody, here's the new wrestler, Coco Beware. So you wrestling fans out there can tell me, you can tell. Okay, I did buy the Hulk Hogan album. I did. I used to listen to that album. It's a good album. In my memory. I prefer to remember Hulk Hogan as he was on that album, pretending to play guitar worse than Lil Wayne. Anyways, look it up. But that's what the disinterest is about. But the thing is, okay, so he's not really interested in music. He is interested in wrestling. But the way that I want to think about this album, and I want to think about him in general, is just to, this channel is ostensibly about music, but it is covertly about human greatness. That's what I'm most interested in. I'm a humanist. I'm interested in what human beings do, no matter what circumstances they come from, no matter what they've lived through, no matter where they are. What can human beings create and what can they do? And I think it's hard to find somebody more inspiring or interesting than Westside Gunn. Actually reminds me a little bit of a friend of mine, Brian, who was made himself a world expert on collecting robots. And then he decided to make himself a world expert on collecting vintage Star Wars toys, which is something I do. And he got so into it that he made the definitive documentary on Star Wars toys. It's called Plastic Galaxy. If you look at the front, if you look at the cover of the DVD, the hands that are on the cover of that DVD are actually my son's hands. I was there when he was taking the pictures for the cover. And like, he was like the world, a very famous vintage Star Wars collector. And then he got really into Dungeons and Dragons, and he made a documentary about the artists of Dungeons and Dragons, and he's a well-respected figure in the world of roleplay. And now he's really into collecting vinyl and guitars. and it's like, you could look at it one way, just be like, oh, he's just kind of flitting from thing to thing. But really, he's just an impressive human being who has a capacity to enter a new space, to learn a lot, and to build on it, and to create something, and then he does something else. And I don't think of it with any kind of bitterness, maybe because I relate to it, because I'm the same way. I get super fixated on something, I learn all about it, and I don't discard it, but it might not be on the front burner, Like sports is a great example. I used to be really into baseball, really into hockey, really into Formula One, right? Now I'm really into soccer. And I can still talk to you about Formula One if you ask me. I can still talk to you about baseball. I still talk to you about hockey, But it's like, just where's my focus? And what ends up happening is like, whatever intelligence I have, whatever it is that I possess, whatever it is that you possess, whatever it is that Brian possesses, whatever it is that Westside Gunn possesses, like, manifests itself in different areas. And that's kind of a cool thing. I mean, right now, most of the time, when I'm not recording these videos or with my kids, I am learning about the Alien franchise. I am like so deep into Alien lore right now. And I'm not going to be deep into Alien lore a year from now, but I will have had all that information and kind of keep that there with me. And it turns out it might actually be a symptom of ADHD. So I don't know. Maybe Westside Gunn is an ADHD king, like I tried to be. I don't know. If you look up ADD.org, they have a description of a hyperfixation. Hyperfixation refers to a strong and prolonged interest in or focus on something. In this state, the person typically becomes oblivious to everything else. They become completely absorbed in the subject or activity at hand. Hyperfixation typically happens with things the individual enjoys or finds fascinating. This could be a hobby, activity, TV show, person, video game, or even a specific type of food. In a state of ADHD hyperfixation, you become oblivious to the passing of time and what's happening around you. When you are jolted back to reality, you may find yourself disoriented by your surroundings, like falling out of a trance. It may also take a while to regain your bearings to readjust to real life. People with ADHD tend to experience this heightened state of focus more intensely and frequently. So I don't know, maybe that's what we're viewing here. Maybe we're just watching the excellence of Westside Gunn, the human excellence of Westside Gunn in all these different forms. So I guess if we are to believe his stories, it starts off trying to be the best drug dealer, and then he's like, you can keep that, I'm a rapper. And then he becomes a rapper, he's like, you can keep that, I'm a rap label founder. You can keep that. I'm a fashion brand designer. I'm going to be at Fashion Week in Paris. You can keep that. I'm going to be a wrestling promoter. His whole life is just going through, and the common denominator is that he is a spectacular man of passion, a truly admirable person who's capable of going in all these different spaces and finding a way to be relevant and important and give to the cultures that he's interested in. Now, his personality is very sort of insecure and jagged, so he's not like a lovable guy. You know what I mean? He's that's part of the way that he presents himself. But I think it's something we need to appreciate. Just that, and when wrestling's done, who knows what he's going to do? And he's doing this for good, not for evil. Some people in this realm do this for evil, and then they buy rocket companies or buy car companies or buy buy social media companies and get really interested in stuff and just try to own it and take over and just show what big smart boys they are all over the place. But still, that makes it a weird way to listen to an album. It's still weird if on the first track that the guy raps, he says, you can keep it, I don't care about this. It actually reminds me, speaking of ADD, one of the things I do is when I listen to albums, I'm usually listening at the gym. I finally am able to go back to the gym now 3 times a week. I go at 6 in the morning, and I listen to the music, and then I'm exercising, and then I also watch a movie on mute with subtitles because I'm just so distractible. And in the last 2 months, since I last went to the gym, before my next baby was born, they added a channel on Pluto TV, which is the James Bond channel. Now, I'm not even that into James Bond, but it's a pretty good thing to watch while you're at the gym. And the movie that came on was Diamonds Are Forever. If you don't know, Sean Connery quit being James Bond. They brought in the best Bond, a guy named George Lazenby, on Her Majesty's Secret Service, the best Bond movie. Argue with me in the comments if you want, but it's great. But he wasn't very successful, so they brought back Sean Connery one more time. And like the whole movie, you just watch it and he is so disinterested in being James Bond. Like I click in on the movie and he's like climbing around this skyscraper in Las Vegas, and he just looks so bored. And he's like sits down in this chair, and like Blofeld is just telling him where to go all over the place. He's just like, he just doesn't care. But then at the same time, it's Sean Connery. It's still awesome. You're still watching. Like, why is Sean Connery so good at being James Bond, even when he's so disinterested? Why is Westside Gunn so good at being a rap music producer and a rapper when he is so disinterested? So I don't know. Those pair really well together. Do you want to know the weirdest thing about this album, though? DJ Drama's on it. I like it. I don't. Some people find him annoying. I think he's great. They also released a version without DJ Drama. The version with DJ Drama is 36 minutes and 41 seconds. The version without drama is 37 minutes and 22 seconds. How is the version without drama longer than the one with it? I can't figure it out. Now, it's excellent. It is excellent. But I have been haunted by something. So every couple of weeks, or a couple times now, I've done this thing called Culture United, organized by Justin Hunt, and a lot of other way more qualified hip-hop commentators are on there. And Curtis King, someone who I enjoy a lot, I forget what we were talking about, but he sort of mentioned how there is like an underground factory of rap producers who make old-sounding rap beats and then just throw some crime stuff on top of it. And his argument, I think, was basically saying that, like, is that much better than, like, I don't know, people making trap beats and then just mumbling over it? Like, he was sort of commenting on the nature of this formulaic nature of a lot of underground rap music. And I was like, oh, do you mean like Griselda? And he was like, I do not mean like Griselda. So he was being very specific that he was not talking about anyone in specific. But I will. I hear what he's saying, and that is a feeling which I do get from time to time. The counter argument is this, though. Yes, it is better. It is better because the boom bap beats, even a kind of rotely put together boom bap beat, is usually more interesting. It's usually better produced. And then these rappers who are not mumbling and singing and auto-tuning, it is just a better, more agreeable sound. So it might just be a formula, but it is a really good formula. And to that point, you know, like, I was on the fence. I listened to the album once, I'm like, I don't know. And then I saw JF Music's, and I'm like, I don't know. And then I just put it on again the other day. It's just like, I love it. You know? It's just a really fun album to listen to. They create such great soundscapes. It's so enjoyable. It's great to listen to. No skips. Other weird things about the album, the guest verses. I don't quite get it because there's not very many guest appearances, and most of them are on one song, and that song doesn't have drum. It's a weird album. The main thing my biggest complaint about this album is I love doot 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 and brrr, I love that, and even boo 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 boo, I love those three things. But he's been like adding actual gunshot sounds, and like I just don't enjoy that. Like, cause it makes me feel like, you know, like gun deaths are really traumatic, and hearing that sound, it's very unpleasant. Like, I don't mind the pretend doot 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 doot, but the real doot 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 doot, I don't want to hear real doot doot doot. It's unpleasant, and like, you know, I listen to okay, maybe this is on me. I listen to this music with my toddler, okay? I don't want my toddler hearing gunshots. If you like what you see, smash the like bucket, subscribe. AVAA Sans, awesome video as always. I will heart every comment I see that says AVAA, but YouTube just changed the interface for creators, so I don't know how to see my comments as well, so I might miss it. See if you can catch me lacking. I will also be reading a children's book in the voice of Westside Gunn in this video. The album begins with Wally Frey. Hey man. It's like, dude. Alright, so I am a professor, right? And I hate grading. I really do hate grading. But I still have to assign work. It's part of my job, so I do it. And I usually, instead of asking for one big paper, I usually ask for like small papers instead. I feel like it's easier as opposed to writing one 10-page paper to write 5 2-page papers. Anyway, that's just the way I do it. And I always tell my students, like, don't. What they'll do is they'll say their name, you know, Jimmy Student, double space, whatever, FCE 322, double space, Professor Skye, double space, paper, double space, title of the paper, so that an entire half of the page is taken up by double-spaced intro. And I tell them right off the bat, all I want to see is your name in the top left corner. That's it. That's it. That's all I care about. Just so you know when someone's padding. This is, I mean, it's fine. I mean, Danny LaFleur and Static Selector are producing most of this. They're doing a great job. The beats are great on this album. It's cool kind of jazzy horns to start, but it's like, okay. But you're like, all right, that's fine. That's the little intro to get us all set up. As long as the next song has some rapping on. Oh, the next song is also an intro song. It's called Justin Roberts, who's like, I don't know, some kind of, he's the Brian Buffer? The Let's Get Ready to Rumble guy. I know his last name is Buffer. Maybe it's Michael Buffer. Anyways, like, he's a famous boxing announcer guy, so I guess Justin Roberts is that for wrestling. But it's like, okay, so now we have 2 songs, and I know why he's padding, because when you listen, you get points per click. You don't get points per minute listened to. You get points per click. So the number of times that these songs clicks, each time someone listens to this album, that's an extra half of a quarter of a cent. Right? So it makes sense. It makes sense why he has these extra songs in there. And I just want to remind you that Westside Gunn is wealthy, but he's wealthy in a particular way. And this is why I like all this wrestling stuff. Because he is so rich that he gets to do what he really wants to do. Now, most rich people are terribly boring, because most people are boring. So you give a boring person a lot of money, they're going to do boring things. And don't get me wrong, he talks about doing boring things with money all the time. Right? Westside Gunn talks about the Margiela and the Ventadors and all that stuff, cars, money, all that, who cares? But his real wealth is in the fact that he's like, I am going to start an art gallery in Buffalo. I am going to start a record label. I am going to, you know, like the fact that he uses his money. So let's just really appreciate the fact that he is this wealthy, because he's doing a lot of interesting creative stuff with it. And then we get to the song Beef Bar. Ew, Beef Bar. Ugh. Trick or treat. Hey, here's your beef bar. Reminds me one time. Total side tangent here. But there used to be a restaurant called Friendly's. It still exists, but it used to be a lot bigger. And it's known for its poor customer service and mediocre food, but I still love it because I'm from Massachusetts and, you know, Fribbles rule. And it used to be there was this one in Watertown, Massachusetts. And I went there before a concert that my band was playing, Battle of the Bands in Watertown. Went there with my bandmates. And my friend Brad ordered a cheeseburger. 45 minutes later, literally 45 minutes later, someone comes out after asking 5 times, where's my cheeseburger, with a piece of white bread, toasted, and a slab of steak on top of it with melted cheese, and says to Brad, here's your beef cheese. Anyways, that's what I think of when I think of Beef Bar. Gentle descending xylophones, faraway beat. How many times does this song start? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And then Westside comes in and just starts restarting his verse and restarting his verse. But hey, everybody. his verse is actually pretty good when he gets into it. Body bag, spill, blast, violate you, fuel, raft, boom, 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 boom. Drive-bys out the jag with the dealer tags, doot, 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 skirt. Vacuum sealing, dope and villas, that's all glass, copping 50 bricks with all cash. You know, it's good, it's strong. It's a strong verse. And he said, I guess Beef Bar is a restaurant. I've never been there. And then he has his outro. And the outro to me, the outro to Beef Bar feels like the thesis statement of the album. And can't no one out here F with me. I'm on my effing wrestling ish though. I don't give a F. Y'all can have this ish. Figure 4 Utons, right? So figure 4 is a wrestling move. I only do this ish to let y'all know that y'all can't F with me. I know y'all is watching. I'm playing with y'all. Heels have eyes. Why you think I'm the mother effing greatest? I love all these hating ass comments to keep them ish coming. So all of that, that's just very on brand for Westside Gunn. Doesn't care about rap, does care about wrestling. He's just doing this, doesn't even really care. And my main beef bar with Westside Gunn is just I made the mistake of following him on social media. I don't follow that many people on social media. It's very random when I do. But like he is very thin-skinned, like insecure, just so insecure. Cincinnati, insecure. And it bugs me because first of all I have so much appreciation for the man, but also just it makes him seem small because like if you say anything about him, he'll block you and make fun of you and send it, you know, like it's just like, dude, you're Westside Gunn. Like everything you do is excellent. Like you don't need to like prove it to people. If people crap on your project, just kind of let it go, you know, be a little cooler, you know, like I get the sense that if you watch this video, he wouldn't even say like, oh, that's cool that you recognize that I am a personification of human excellence, and you would know that as somebody who's dedicated his entire life and got a doctorate on the subject of humanities and human excellence, and that you see that I, Westside Gunn, do belong in the same conversation as Moliere, right? He'd probably just be like, you called me insecure, and then block me. That's okay. It's cool, you know, people are people. You know, people have their own stuff. And then we get a guest verse, the most important guest verse on the album. Max Caster, who I guess is a wrestler. And that's what really matters. And then the next song is called Max Caster. Great grimy beat, restarts from LaFleur and Static. Really great beat. And then we have a political verse. I Notons got locked up by Kamala. Notons got free commas from Trump. Blew it, then started robbing the next month. Anyways, I'm not gonna go in. Did you know I actually recorded an entire video all about that song that Kodak Black did about, you know, for Trump? I'm not gonna get into it. Pro-Trump rappers are quite interesting. And anti-Kamala though does make sense. Anyways, we'll talk about that later. And by later I mean never. Next song is called Dr. Britt Baker, produced by DJ Muggs. Always nice to see DJ Muggs. Actually, you know, my 2-year-old is just learning how to dance. I mean, how to jump. And so I put on Jump Around, you know, the House of Pain song, which of course, made by DJ Muggs. Dun, dun, dun. She doesn't know how to jump. 2-year-olds don't know how to jump, so they just do this funny thing. It's hilarious. It turns out Dr. Britt Baker is a dentist and a professional wrestler woman. Listen, before this album, I did not know that there was a dentist who was a wrestler, but I now have a favorite wrestler. So next time you see me, say, hey, Professor Skye, who's your favorite wrestler? I'm going to say Dr. Britt Baker, because I love anybody who has a job and then has a hobby that is their passion, like me. I like how he talks about his wealth here. I sold big eating squid with my kids. That's it. That's it. It's not about the Margiela. It's not even about eating the squid. It's about being able to eat squid with your kids, you know? That's... I gotta say though, my local place here in the town where I live, they used to have really good calamari. I've ordered it 2 times in a row and they fucked it up. It's all papery and it's not rubbery and satisfying anymore. So I gotta find a new squid dealer. Brother Tom Sauce is the guest appearance on here. I guess he's a new guy on Griselda, and I like it. I like his singing. I like his verse. But cool, you know. It's part of why I love Griselda and the whole thing around it is that, you know, I live near Buffalo. I live like an hour and a half away from Buffalo. I go there, I don't know, 4 or 5 times a year. It's not a place you think you would find a lot of human excellence. It's kind of a rundown post-industrial hellscape at times. At times it's not, but it's a tough place to be. And I love that Griselda and all of the associated acts just show, like, no, just you shine a light on any group of human beings anywhere on earth, and you give them a microphone or a canvas or a stage, and you give them time, and you allow someone like Westside Gunn to have the vision to figure out how to get someone to look at where you've shined that light, you will see human excellence. Love me or hate me, you gotta respect me. I got rich just for talking stuff. Drama's on here. Drama's also kind of phoning it in here. But again, we have a hype man and we have a rapper who are both phoning it in, yet who have both made something so awesome that I will continue to enjoy listening to it. Next song is called I Know Verdi, produced by Crucial Guillotine. I've never heard Crucial Guillotine before, but never has a rapper sounded like they were named by a RZA ad-lib before. Crucial Guillotine! Is that an actual RZA ad-lib? Crucial Guillotine! Drink you like Ovaltine! Throw you with a chopper like A-Team! Ferraro like Geraldine! Okay, I'm done. I'm done with 80s references that rhyme with Ian. A nice blared synth, boom bap beats. Okay, I will say he does use the term gypped. Americans don't know this. That's like a very not okay thing to say. Okay? Very, very not okay thing to say. Roma, which is the proper term for people who we used to call gypsies, are the most structurally powerless people on planet Earth. Okay? There's just, oh my God. So using that term, it's very not cool. I was actually in a meeting yesterday with an administrator, and I heard that word. Okay, but just so you know, so Professor Skye people know, don't use the term gypsy to mean like cool and wild, okay? Don't use the word. It's seriously. Okay, sorry. And then there's a beat change. Why not do that beat? I don't know. Then we get to Speedy 40, produced by Derringer, just chopping up over and over again. East side, very cool, chopped up, repeated beat. Very simple, resettling thing, talking about where he's from, Bennett High. This album has a lot of references to Buffalo, like all of his stuff does here. Hey, look at that. Okay, yes, there we go. I done fall asleep, woke up in the Waldorf, top floor spooning with the sawed off. I like that image. At this point in the movie, James Bond had been buried alive in a pipeline underground. And he wakes up and he starts talking. He starts talking to a mouse. He just goes, one of us smells like a torch handkerchief. How do you not love Sean Connery? How do you not love Westside Gunn? Oh, one of us smells like a torch handkerchief. Oh, Mr. Wayne. Then we get to Duran Duran, produced by J.R. Swift. Great tinkling piano, more great boom baps. I prefer the song without drama. I listened to the whole album with and without drama. This is the one song I prefer without drama because it gives a little more space to this J.R. Swift's beat. And I don't get the lyrics, which I enjoy. Slide the doors back on a Maybach minivan, Duran Duran. Listen, I am all about that minivan life, okay? In my opinion, minivans are the superior car, okay? Not for gas mileage, okay? But that aside, minivans, you can have a band, move stuff around the back. You can put 7 people in there. Cops don't pull you over because they assume that you're a soccer mom, you know? Minivans are the superior car. America has made a deal with the devil. All we have is SUVs. They're not as comfortable. They're not as useful. They use up just as much gas. If you want to buy a minivan, you have 3 choices. You have a Town and Country, you have an Odyssey, and you have a Sienna. That's it. That's the only choice. So I wish there were a Maybach minivan. I couldn't afford it yet. But if you smash and like this video, I might be able to afford a Maybach minivan. But I don't know what that has to do with Duran Duran. Okay, I think I know what I have to do. I do. I need to put a bumper sticker on the back of my car that says Maybach minivan Duran Duran. I think I'm going to do that, everybody. I think I'm going to make, if I remember, please remind me in my comments, okay? Say, Skye, please remember to make a Maybach minivan Duran Duran bumper sticker. Maybe I'll just get like a Maybach sticker and a Duran Duran sticker and put it there, and that'll be just for the Westside Gunn heads out there. Runway Pieces at the Last Supper. Again, another Danny LaFleur beat. More wrestling quotes. And then we have drama on here. And I like it because he says, Leonardo tried to learn how to fly. You see the similarities. And that makes sense because that's the whole idea, is that Leonardo was a genius who worked in many different realms. And he got hyperfixated on trying to figure out how to fly. And so he tried to figure out how to fly. And then he learned how to paint. So I do see the similarities, DJ Drama. Thank you for making a fairly actually deep point. Talks about these wars, Tommy Hill and Nautica, repeats over and over again. Nice verses, bullets inside you like a pinball. But again, it's just a quick song. Next song is called Bike Air, interlude with A.A. Rashid. I normally love A.A. Rashid, but put him in the front. Don't put him in the middle of your album. He's a little bit phoning it in as well. Never took a chance, never had a chance. I really like his stuff in general, but this one's, I'm not feeling it as much, but it makes sense because this album is sort of about not feeling stuff. And then from the top rope comes Conductor Williams with the song Free Shots featuring Conway the Machine. All of a sudden, we have a very interesting beat. Okay, for the rest of the album, I would agree more or less with the thing that Curtis King said about kind of paint by numbers, underground rap music stuff. Not that he said that about this album or that he said that about Griselda. I'm just taking that general idea and kind of putting it forth. But this sample, oh Lord, this crazy saying, oh Lord, it's just everywhere. It's awesome. DJ Drama says, blink twice if you're in danger. Call me if you get lost. Just this beat is so alive, and Conway's verse is great. Interlocks with Westside Gunn, and like the whole project kind of comes alive with like caring about stuff. Like it feels like, oh right, this is what Hitler Wears Hermes. What was the one I really liked? Was it 9? I forget the one is that I really liked. I think it was 9. That's the one that I think I have on vinyl. Oh, I really like 10 as well. Man, he's got a lot of great projects. You know, this has that kind of feeling. And then at the end, we have a little bit of Westside Gunn Day in Buffalo from a news report. Because giving back is what Westside Gunn Day is all about. Man, Westside Gunn isn't about giving back. He's about creating. Like, he gives back, but he gives back by creating. And if you want to help him create, then you get something back. He's not like a philanthropist running around giving pizzas to everybody. He's running around opening up pizza shops, but that's fine. Still praying. What did you do? you know there's going to be a Westside Gunn album, so you go, great. We're going to have some cool Westside Gunn verses and then a ton of guest appearances by people that I love. I don't know if, like, when they were producing this album, they accidentally tipped it so that all of the guest appearances fell into one goddamn song, one drumless loop from Camouflage Monk. An album that needs more features has one song with Stove God Cooks. Maybe my favorite Westside Gunn collaborator because I love the way his sing-song voice goes with, Westside Gunn. The way his voice goes with Westside Gunn. And then Benny the Butcher and Conway. So we finally have a reunion of Griselda on this album. And Boldy James? What is going on? This album's so weird. Love the back and forth. It never gets tired. They're all so good. I love the way Stove God Cooks. It's a Western New York underground flow rider on the song. I really enjoy that. Check my math on that. I think that works out. Boldy's cool, and Benny's awesome right there. Hand stretch out like Papa John's pizza dough. Didn't even vote and met with Donald and Glasper, all that. And then Underground King, oh my God, it's awesome. We have Drama talking about being the greatest, not the GOAT, but the greatest of all shit talkers, and then goes back to more standard boom bap stuff and a great verse. I love Westside's verse. I heard the slick-ish, don't you know Harold Miner, you know me, and you know I know you, vagina. I'm MJ from the free throw and designer. Have a B word, treat you like a barber and line you. You figure 4, I wrote dope, we incredible. We came from selling soap, we was broke. Alu Akbar, I am the GOAT. You about to slit your wrist with a note. Awesome. And then his daughter comes on, and I generally don't like it when his daughter's on because it feels, you know, not great, because, you know, he's having her say a bunch of really aggressive stuff, and it's like she's bragging about stuff that he did, but that's not stuff that she did. So when she gets older, she'll probably be like, why didn't you have me talk about myself, Dad? But I do like it now because she's a little bit older, so I don't know. She seems less like she's just saying what he wants to say and just trying to be kind of a badass on her own. I promised you I would read. So my daughter, my 2-year-old, it was like last night I was listening to the album, and she was very fussy. And when she gets really fussy and tired, there's nothing that she wants. And so it was about half an hour before her bedtime, so I had to figure out how to kill time. And she was kind of like, Poppy, wah. She's kind of in that mode. And so this is one of her favorite books, Jamberry, great book. And I was listening to this album, and then I was like, well, what if I just read this to her in a different way and kind of like switched her up? So I started reading it with the album in the background. Strawberry ponies, strawberry lambs, dancing in meadows in strawberry jam. Quickberry, crackberry, pick me a blackberry. Doot, 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 doot. Trainberry, trackberry, clickety clackberry. Boo, 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 boo. Rumble and ramble in boo, 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 boo. Blackberry ramble. Billions of berries for blackberry jamble. Doot, doot, doot. So I read the entire book like that. My daughter was recording me, turns out. I didn't know. And that is my recommendation. If you have a fussy 2-year-old and you need to snap her into focus, read a children's story with Westside Gunn's intonation and ad-libs. No, I will not, Sam, I am. Okay. Rome Streets comes on here and reminds you that he is one of the best MCs in the world right now. He is just unbelievable. He is so good. Album ends with Le Sal Station. Le Sal Station. Now, if this is on purpose, I apologize. But listen, salle is a French word which means room. La Salle is the name of a train station in Buffalo, where I assume he's talking about. So I don't know what Le Salle is, because Salle is feminine, as Le is a definite article that means masculine. So listen, you can come at me, Westside. You can come at me on Instagram and say Professor Skye doesn't know anything about rap music. Professor Skye doesn't know anything about Westside Gunn or about Griselda or wrestling. But you can't tell me I don't know anything about definite articles in French. Another J.R. Swift's beat is great. I really like his stuff on here. He might sort of, J.R. Swift might have kind of swooped in and kind of like won this project with his couple of beats, because it's very cool, blared out sound, goes high and resets. And I like this verse a lot because it's about his life in Buffalo. Soon as he went out to Seneca, used to meet her at A+, parking, salt and vinegars. You remember her. We used to have a cousin, Kelly, who went to Kensington. Anyway, she had 2 kids already, and then her twin went to Emerson. Shelley, you know brown-eyed Shelley, used to mess with Pretty Ann for City Honors with the red Chevy. Like, this whole verse is just him just kind of remembering his life and his time in Buffalo. That's the A+ on Seneca in Buffalo. Yeah, you can pull it up on Google Maps. Like, you can find a lot of the places. So that's the place where they would get salt and vinegar chips. And then it's another song that ends with the gunshots, and it's kind of unpleasant. I just wish he'd knock it off with the gunshot stuff. So there you go. There's my review of this album, which I wasn't going to review. Shout out to Curtis King. Shout out to JF Musics on Instagram. Seriously, you gotta check that out. Man, it is so cold. I can barely even hold up my Patreons. I didn't even ask them if they want a shout out, so I apologize to you, my Patreons. I didn't even know I was gonna do this album. I'm hopefully gonna be talking to Justin Hunt later, so check out his channel if you want to see me talk about Top Dog Entertainment and Kendrick Lamar. I'm gonna be doing that hopefully later today if our schedules line up. So there you go. All right. Well then, until next time, I was wrong. I'm talking. I took what could be a 2-minute video saying good but weird and turned it into a 40-minute video, not a 30-minute video. There's the camera.